Da-da-da-da-da. It's time for the Vicpothesis. Oh, pretty jolly mood tonight, aren't I? I don't know. But this is Vicpothesis. And all day I've been watching little short video clips, and I hope they're from reputable news agencies. But I believe it is all good because I have a lot of them. I saved the different links. Yummy. But, however, on to furthermore, I would say this. A lot of people getting, and I know, I normally don't, I try to avoid this, but lately I've been getting more into this, but because I feel I just feel I have to say it. So I'm going to say it. So there's a lot of people getting laid off on these IRS and all these different agencies, and I discussed this about fraud stuff before, but how is that? And I'm not so I see like Kansas City, Ogden, I think it is, in Utah, someplace out the East Coast, and excuse me, there's one other place. Well, there's IRS office. Cincinnati was one. I know that's in Ohio. Oh, and Virginia was another. Maybe that was it. Anyway, lay these people off, right? Then I see some other stuff where they laid or not laid. I don't know if they laid them off, fired them, or what. But they don't have a job. Is the point. And FAA people in Oklahoma City. Now, I'm going to have to go on a tangent on this right here, but I'll get back to the original point, hopefully. The aviation industry was our last true vestige that we had in this country, where we were always top dogs, and I'm sure we still are. That is where we should put our focus on. Not weakening that standard, strengthening it, maintain that. We're respected everywhere around the world, or at least we were around the world for the FAA, but if you start destroying it, how could we be? Hey, that's just my take. It's air travel was one of the safest, it is one of the safest travels, right? I mean, statistically, whatever. So, because you gotta remember, the pilot wants to get home too. So, okay. So back to the other thing. So they're laying off FAA people, and then I see this US IAD, and I don't really know what the acronym stands for, but there's some people getting. It affects a lot of college students in research. Research. Research? Okay. To me, that's a big deal. Well, so if they're saying stuff like that is fraud, then they're saying the colleges are overcharging, or the universities, is what they're saying, right? Because what else could they be saying? There's college students that help when these professors do these studies, right? And they just, I don't know that they get paid. They get some kind of recognition, or they get some education, which is good, and they get whatever they get out of it. But I don't think they receive anything monetarily for it. I don't know. So that's up to if somebody knows if they know. I don't. But, this agricultural people, we're going to be losing the small farmer. Keep messing around. And I'm not a farmer by any way, shape, or means, and I can give a shit less about them in reality and this context of this conversation or this thought. Because however they voted is what they get what they want. But they are right about one thing. They feed a lot of people. And so they do have that. And it's all semantics of, when they get some funding, it's welfare, it's not welfare. Somebody puts so much money in, so it's not welfare. They don't, all that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is we need those small farms, in my opinion. Those people, why can't they make a living? Why can't they? Okay, so the first thing was last time was like, let's send everything back to the states. Well, send it back to the states. And then, you know what? The states is going to do what? Send it back to the counties. And the counties, if the cities and whatever, the corporation, whatever they have, that's what they're going to do. And then, so that's, or just let the federal know and let them cut off your funding and you can't do it. Oh, great. It was already set up before? Oh. They had a bunch of, and it's part of the game. But I believe it's all true. And so back to the people getting laid off, right? If they are, so all these people have jobs. Let's say whatever, 30,000, 50,000, 10,000, 1,000, even 10 or 100 or 1,000. Just think of wherever you're living at, whatever city you're living at, or wherever you're living at, and think about 10% of that. How's that? That's a good number, right? It was always in the good book, so let's do that. So, in your city, would that affect your city? Then yes or no, and then there's your answer. I don't know what your city sizes are and are not. And the problem is, as I keep saying, as they know, but it's like we don't know. For some reason, the people don't know this. And so that gets back to like a communication and education, in my opinion. And when I say education, I mean like information. Good information. So it's not corrupt. It's not AI. It's not hearsay. It's not somebody just trying to make so many likes or looks or whatever you call it. And it can be validated. So that's Vicpothesis, and he just wants everybody be good to yourself and your others. Oh, hey, I have a real quickie on communications. So, those tall cylindrical, they're not beakers, but they're smaller. I don't know what they're called. The gradients, and they have the grade, so you can measure. So think of this. If you can visualize that, then think of this, and whether something's in it or not doesn't matter. But just think about this. If it's full of water or whatever, let's just say water, okay? And I drop something that like oil, what's it going to do? If I drop something like alcohol, what's it going to do? All these different things are going to do different things in that, right? And the medium is what? That thing and then the water. And so that's the communication. The water communicates with all these three different products or chemicals or, right? And there's a communication. It's going to answer you with, it's going to be polarized, non-polarized, or whatever it's going to answer you with. It's going to float. It's going to sink. So it's going to give you your answer because it's water and it's trying to communicate to you visually. You see? And visually, haha. So if you're water, it's like the old water and oil, and so. So communication is a little different. So then, excuse me. So here's where the communication comes in: is when you describe what you see, and somebody may see the results in different, whatever their subjective thing is, right? However, if you have a metric or a tool or something to measure, they love using metrics nowadays. to a standard to go off of, then everybody has to, no matter what, they have to go off that. It's all the same. And so that's communication. We have to have an agreed upon language, which we don't anymore because it's moving so fast because of everything's moving so fast. You know? Hey, if somebody said a fag, 60 years ago, 70 years, whatever the heck it was, I don't know, 50, 60, in England or Europe, it was a cigarette, right? Or, whatever people said, And they said other things, too, that they were more derogatory than that, or just as equally as derogatory as that, But that was a communication. At least we all understood what they're talking about. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm using extremes because that's what Vicpothesis does lots of times. To make it clear what we're talking about. It's just communications what we're talking about. You see? So I just said that, and then everybody had a trigger in their head for whatever it was they had for that. And then that, from there on, was going to dictate how they were going to communicate. And so, in saying that, then you go from there. I don't know if you know if it's a trigger or not, but if you do know, then you know what to do. If you don't know, then you go with them, right? You listen. And if neither of those happen, then what? And that's basically the 3 if-thens. And then that helps with communication. And not so much the anticipatory thing of what they're going to say, but whatever they say, you're going to, that thing that you put food in under your nose, you're going to keep that shut. Me too, especially, because I'm real bad about this. And then we're going to listen. And then we're going to respond accordingly. You see? It's very basic if you really think about it. Sender, receiver, sender. So, that's it. That's Vicpothesis for tonight. Hopefully. Everybody have a good evening. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. And know the Creator is the Creator. There is none else besides Him.